What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we do upload PvP content every single day, so please consider subscribing if you are into that type of content. Today we're going to be taking another look at Arroh's team featuring the Munchlax. Links to Arroh's Twitch and Twitter in the description below. This team basically utilizes Razor Leaf, Tropius in the lead, Munchlax and Registeel in the back. So we're going to be looking at some rank 9 battles here. And this video is pretty much going to showcase a lot of unfavorable situations. First matchup against Diet Fresca. Not sure if Fresca comes in a diet version. I think it's like a no sugar drink. Either way, Skarmory lead here against Tropius, so obviously a very unfavorable matchup for us. Going to switch into the Munchlax here. And we're going to be met by an Alolan Raichu, which obviously is pretty good for us because those licks are going to be doing super effective damage. So this is a case in which some of the trainers you face may not know what Munchlax is running because it's not that common in general. So a lot of times they will make like a panic switch, which this may be in this case, for example. So I want to win switch advantage, obviously, and I know I can win this matchup, so I'm going to just throw the body slams, commit the shields if I need to here. Could definitely survive this here, but I want to ensure that we win switch advantage, and as long as I could line up that Registeel with the Skarmory, should be okay in the back. They probably have a counter to Registeel in the back, so Tropius should perform well against that, assuming I can line it up with it. So as you can see here, Munchlax defeats the Raichu, comes back in, has a body slam ready for the Skarmory. Not very effective, but still does a respectable amount of damage. And this Sky Attack is going to come through. And Munchlax is going to survive just by a thread, gets KO'd here. And now we're going to bring in the Registeel, of course. Registeel is going to go to town on this Skarmory. He actually brings in his own Registeel, but because shields are down, we have the energy lead, so we could instantly go for the Focus Blast. And I need to maintain my Registeel in the back for their own, so I'm going to switch into Tropius here, knowing that they're switch locked. And this is where Razor Leaf does come in handy, because as you're going to see, despite being resisted, Razor Leaf is such a heavy hitting move that we will be able to do some decent enough damage to this Registeel in order to get rid of it and have the Skarmory lined up again with the Registeel in the back. So despite losing the matchup, we end up taking control of the match because Munchlax has the switch and we win that game. Teddy Bear XD Smiley Face is here in the next matchup. And we are going to lead Tropius into another Skarmory. So as we saw last game, what we're doing is switch into Munchlax. And here, as you see, our opponent's taking a long time to switch out. They bring in Shiftry. So they're running the Caleb Pang team, and pretty much the only way that we can win this matchup is from them being late on that switch. As you can see, we have a lot of energy farmed up because they were so late. We got off the body slam, and we actually are going to get to a second body slam because of how late they were to the switch. Munchlax cannot beat Shiftry. It's going to get outpaced in every situation. So pretty much the only way we're going to have any shot of winning this is by them being late on that switch in most cases. So we do get the shield there. And we're almost at another body slam. We actually do get it, but CMP tie goes to Shiftry. So I want to ensure that I get off this body slam because I know it's going to KO or he's going to burn his second shield. So we could survive another charge. We'll let that go through, go for the body slam. I am expecting the shield to come up here. It does come up. Both shields are burned. We're in a great situation now. Now here I make a mistake. At this time, I wasn't completely aware of how the match went, so I did shield that. That's a horrible decision because the Shiftry is going to outpace us before we get to another body slam. So I pretty much wasted a shield there. And take that into consideration. We burnt a shield that we shouldn't have. And we're still going to find a way to win this. So we bring in Registeel, knowing that he can't switch out of this. Because if he switches into something, he's going to lock himself into that match. If he switches into Skarmory, locked in against Registeel. If he switches into Meganium, I will switch into my Tropius. So he has to let it go down. So now he's going to bring in the Meganium, but because we farmed up so much energy with the Registeel, we're actually going to outpace it before it can get to an Earthquake. And because shields are down, we're going to get to 2 Flash Cannons unshielded. It's going to put the Meganium extremely low, pretty much knocked out. I tried to switch into the Tropius to see if I could Razor Leaf before switched. Was not able to, so I kind of messed up a little bit by bringing in the Tropius. Well, I didn't mess up, my plan backfired, so got myself stuck into this matchup with the Skarmory. And this is fine. We're just going to lower the Skarmory's health. Razor Leaf's doing a pretty decent amount here. And the Registeel has enough energy to come back in and take whatever the Skarmory has left. And at this point, Flash Cannon will be enough to KO. Pretty much their win condition would be to sack swap the Meganium, but even then, it's very unlikely that they'll win this matchup. So we end up beating the Caleb Pang team, in large part to our opponent being late on the switch. Went a little different if the Skarmy switched out right away, but based on how it went, Munchlax put in a lot of work, and we managed to win that game. So this Flash Can here will finish off the game. The Sack Swap didn't work, of course. Energy was way too low on the Meganium. And we end up winning another match with an unfavorable lead. So let's head into this next matchup here. And this is going to be against Sei Senkan. And this team, after I saw Arroh's Twitch stream, I actually went 40-10 with this team. Built my rating all the way up to about 2880 until the lag the past 2 days has been really bad and I've been losing some horrible matches. But here we face another really bad lead against the Registeel, so I switch into the Munchlax here. Munchlax can take a Focus Blast. I chose to shield this time. You don't necessarily have to, but I'm shielding in the hopes that he will take this Body Slam as legit. He does not. He doesn't shield this, so that's really bad for us. We didn't get the shield. And of course we're going to survive another Focus Blast here, but we're in a bit of a trickier situation because he didn't use any shields. So I'm going to go for the Bulldoze now, hoping he doesn't shield this. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a really tight spot. This is probably going to KO. It does. So we maintain switch advantage because he let the Bulldoze go through. We're down a shield, but that's totally fine. We got rid of the Registeel. It's going to bring in the Whiscash, and I'm going to go for the Body Slam. This Whiscash is farming up a lot of energy. So I'm going to bring in the Tropius, of course, but we have to keep count of the mud shots here. He has about like 4 or 5 now, I'd imagine. And as you can see, he's still going for the mud shots. So this is too high of a chance of Blizzard, so we have to shield this. We're going to be down 2 shields, but that's fine. He brings in a Meganium. So this is pretty much game over. Even though we're down 2 shields, Meganium cannot do anything to Tropius. Frenzy Plant, all day. We're going to take that all day. I could just go straight for Leaf Blade here because he pretty much has to use his shields anyways. And even if he doesn't, we're going to win this regardless. So no point to go for the Aerial Ace here. You could just go straight Leaf Blade. As you could see, the Vine Whips and the Frenzy Plants aren't doing anything. Earthquake's not going to do anything. This matchup's in the bag. And we just have to farm down here. The Whiscash did get off a Blizzard, so it has no energy left anyways. Obviously, that's the only potential way we could lose this match is if the Whiscash comes in and blizzards us, but it's way too far from Blizzard. It's not going to get to it with this Razor Leaf damage. So we're going to knock out the Meganium here. The Whiscash will come back in. It might get to possibly a Mud Bomb, but that's not going to do anything. We're going to end up winning that game. Our opponent actually backs out. So another win despite the unfavorable lead here. X Neptune CPU is the next matchup here. We are going to lead Tropius into Altaria, so another unfavorable matchup here. Obviously, Altaria is going to beat the Tropius, and we're going to instantly switch into the Munchlax. Going to be met by a Azumarill. This is a very common counter to the Munchlax. When you switch it in, you're going to see a lot of people bring in Azumarills. So we're just going to go straight Body Slam here. And of course, you prefer to get hit by Ice Beams as opposed to the Hydro Pumps. But even if it is a Hydro Pump, you will survive it. Play Rough also hits pretty hard, to be honest, but it's still better than getting hit by a Hydro Pump. So gonna go for these Body Slams. And as you can see here, Munchlax does a lot of damage with these licks still. Body Slam's gonna come through. He gets to the Body Slams relatively quickly in comparison to the Azumarill. So we actually get the shield from our opponent there, which is really good for us. And at this point, we could choose to shield, go for another Body Slam, and then commit to Lick. We're either going to get the second shield or we're going to get switch advantage. So let's see what they choose to do. In this situation, they choose to give up that shield, so I'm totally fine with that. I bring in the Tropius, hoping that I can raise Leaf down before they get to another charge move. But the only disadvantage that is that I switch lock myself into the Altaria matchup after. But I'm okay with that because I know they have no shields, and Registeel in the back with shields down generally is a very good match. So let's see what we're going to do here. Obviously, I'm not going to commit any shields to this Tropius because this is a lost matchup. And we are going to come in here with the Registeel, and that Munchlax could still act as a sack swap late in the game if we need it. So Deoxys comes in. This isn't the best matchup for Registeel, of course, because of the counter damage. However, we do have the shield, so We just need to get 2 flash cannons pretty much, and this is going to be a game over. Actually bring in the Munchlax to catch the charge move to solidify this win even further. Thunderbolt would have been pretty bad. He actually undercharged it, but the next counter will get rid of it. So smart play on their part to undercharge and get an extra counter in. But regardless, we still have a shield because we didn't have to use it on that Thunderbolt. So Flash Cannon's going to come through, end this game. And the Altaria comes in. We have the shield, so we could just shield this up here. It's going to be a Sky Attack. And we're going to outpace it to the Flash Cannon. Even if we don't, Sky Attack's not going to KO here. As we don't outpace it, it gets to another Sky Attack. This is going to put us low, but we're in the range where we're going to beat it to the Flash Cannon. And Flash Cannon, of course, in this range is going to KO the Altaria. So we're going to win another matchup despite the unfavorable lead. And a lot of these matches I did learn from watching Arrow's Twitch stream how to play them perfectly. So the first time I played it seems a little bit difficult, but I went over his videos, rewatched them, see how he plays them, certain situations, and found out specific matchups, how to play them, and I did really well with this team as a result. Registeel lead, again, very bad lead here. Going to switch into the Munchlax. And I think Arrow most of the time actually lets the first charge move go through. And as you can see there, this time was a Flash Cannon. They switch out. So disappointing shield on our part. But the benefit to that is that we do get to go against this Azumarill at pretty much full health. So not the worst situation. And we do have a lot of energy stored in it as he switched out of the Registeel. We're just doing a lot of damage here to the Azumarill, as you can see. Don't want to burn my second shield here, so I'm going to let this go through, expecting the Hydro Pump. Actually turns out to be a play rough. That's fine. So going to go for the Body Slam here again. And let's see if we can get the shield. We do not, which is very interesting. And we're actually going to try committing to the Lick Down. We can't get to it. I know if I shield here, I'm 100% going to win switch advantage. And even though I'll be down 2 shields, I will be able to line up my team accordingly. So Registeel comes back in, needs to get to this Bulldoze. If he lets this go through, it's going to do a lot of damage, but realistically, he is going to shield here. So we do get the shield, down 2 shields. Now we're only down 1 shield. This Registeel cannot farm us down with Lock On, so he's going to have to use his charge move. That's totally fine. Likely going to be a Flash Cannon here. It is a Flash Cannon. So, not the best situation here. Our only real counter to Registeel here is our own Registeel. But I actually choose to bring in the Tropius here. So you may be wondering, well, why bring in Tropius? As you can see, his Registeel was still in the green. We're in the green. He has a shield. But this is where Razor Leaf makes such a huge difference compared to Air Slash. So as you're going to see here, Flash Cannon's going to come through. We could definitely take the Flash Cannon. That's not an issue. So I'm going to keep going. I wanted to catch the Flash Cannon because I know he's going to throw Flash Cannon at the Tropius. So I was trying to catch it with the Registeel. Was unable to. So a little bit unfortunate there. But we are able to farm down the Registeel, which is great for us. He brings in Umbreon. So even though he has a shield, we have Registeel left in the back with the Focus Blast. And I didn't bring in Registeel against his own Registeel because I know that there's not much I can really do. All he has to do is get a Focus Blast off on us. I can't shield it. So the Tropius with the Razor Leaf played a big part there in coming back in this matchup. And at this point, we just have to go straight Focus Blast because the Umbreon's win condition is pretty much hoping that we bait with the Flash Cannon and they don't shield it. So we just go straight for Focus Blast. Even if he shields it, we know we get to a second one. So he ends up backing out of the match. Enzo Saints is the next match here. Leads the Hypno into the Tropius. So this actually isn't a horrible matchup for Tropius. We could actually win this match depending on shield usage. So as you see, Razor Leafs are doing a lot of damage. I tend to let the first charge move go just to make sure they're running Ice Punch because you don't want to shield like a Thunder Punch or something. It is an Ice Punch, so I'm going to go for the Leaf Blade here. And as you can see, our opponent chooses to shield. So now I'm like way too low of health to consider shielding anything. He actually farms us down. But I know I could bring in Munchlax here, and those Elixirs are going to do a lot of damage. And as you can see here, this is where Munchlax performs really well. Unless this Hypno's running Focus Blast, he could take these punches all day. Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. He's going to take a second one. It's not going to do anything. We're maintaining our shields, and we're going to farm down on this Hypno with the Licks, store up a bunch of energy. We're going to apply a lot of shield pressure here because he has already burnt one. We have a lot of energy built onto the Munchlax. Brings in Altaria. Okay. Body Slams are still going to chunk away at this Altaria. And Lick is still doing a decent amount of damage. We have 2 shields. I think Registeel with 2 shields is pretty hard to beat, to be honest. Even against the hard counter, it's pretty hard to beat. So what I do is I switch into Registeel. Our opponent's going to throw a Sky Attack at us. We're going to let that go through. And I was expecting a switch here, but it turns out that they're not switching, so I'm interested to see what they have in the back here. Flash Cannon is going to KO the Altaria, and it's actually in a Zoom Roll, so with 2 shields this matchup's pretty much done here. All we have to do is make sure that we don't get baited multiple times, and we're going to get off these Flash Cannons. We get the last shield there, and pretty much here all we have to do is, even if it's Ice Beams, we just have to shield both times, and we're going to outpace it to the Flash Cannons and win this matchup. So it is an Ice Beam, which makes sense. You know, if they hit us with a Hydro Pump, we're going to get KO'd, so we can't risk letting it go. Obviously, that'd be a little bit of a flex if we did call the Ice Beam, but either way, you have to shield the Ice Beams because even those bubbles are going to add up. So I was trying to count the bubbles here to switch out into the Munchlax, but we're not able to do that. Another Ice Beam comes through. So this game's getting really close here. We have our last shield burned. Going for the Flash Cannon. This isn't going to KO, but it's going to put the Zoom Roll very low. Now the good thing here is that our Zoom Roll is going to have to use its energy, and our Munchlax in the back has a little bit of health left. It's going to be a Lick versus Bubble showdown here. And Munchlax coming in super clutch with the Lick down. Gonna lick away the opponent, and we are going to win another matchup there. And we are going to see Benayak 1 here in this next matchup. And let's see what we are leading into with the Tropius. It's an Azumarill, so this is a very favorable lead for us. This is the dream matchup you want to see. And Azumarill switches out, brings in the regular Raichu, actually, shiny Raichu. So I'm going to bring in the Munchlax here. Now we have to be careful because Raichu does run Brick Break. So we have to keep that in mind. And we are going to let the first one go through, see how much damage it does. So it still does a pretty decent amount, but we could definitely take 2 of them. So I'm going to go for the Body Slam here. He's going to shield up. And now we're just going to have to match shields and ensure that we maintain switch advantage. As my dog begins to bark quite annoyingly. So Munchlax going to shield this Brick Break for sure here. And we are going to go for the Body Slam. This is going to KO if he chooses not to shield. If he does shield, he has a pretty decent chance of actually outpacing us to the next charge move. He lets it go, so he gives up switch advantage in exchange for the shield advantage. But what we have to consider here is that he's going to build up a lot of energy on this Azumarill, and it's going to have an Ice Beam ready. We cannot bring in the Tropius here because it's going to get slammed in the face with the Ice Beam. But because our opponent wants to save that energy for the Tropius, he's letting us build up a lot of charge moves, and he actually allows us to burn his last shield as a result of that. So I can't bring in Tropius here. I have to bring in Registeel to tank this hit, and preferably I hope he throws the Ice Beam right away at the Registeel. He throws a charge move. I'm expecting a Hydro Pump here now because I assume he saw what we brought in. It is the Hydro Pump. So he switches out into the Meganium, and this game is pretty much over now. The Tropius in the back is going to be able to handle both the Meganium and the Azumarill. But what I'm doing here is I'm bringing in the Tropius because I want to ensure that I build up enough energy to get off the Leaf Blade as soon as that Azumarill comes back in. Instead of allowing my Registeel to still be in there, Azumarill bubbles down, gets energy for an Ice Beam, and ends up hitting my Tropius before I get to a Leaf Blade. So just coming into a straight farm down here with Meganium, it can't do anything to us. The Azumarill does not have enough energy for the Ice Beam, and we're going to get this Leaf Blade off before it can hit us with anything and win that matchup. So, great team made by Arrohh. Go check them out. Links are in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.